Well, good evening, everybody. Old Guy Jammin' here. Tonight, I'm going to bring you something really cool. We've all been sequestered and quarantined for a while, so I've been catching up on some guitar work. And I wanted to show you how to refinish and take care of maple guitar necks or natural finished guitar necks. I was, I love this 9.6 pound Telecaster, and I was looking around on the YouTube, like a lot of people are right now, and I came across this guy, Highline Guitars, and I'll put the description in a link in the description to this very short video, because I went ahead with his resurfacing technique or refinishing technique for the back of this maple neck that's on this really cool artist Telecaster. It sounds great, but I can't keep them all, and this thing is just so heavy. I'm a stand-up player, I'm not a sit-down player, and 9.6 pounds is tough. But, and the orange was killing me, right? So I didn't want to get into the frets here, but what I did do, and I didn't want to disrupt the sticker, so I didn't mess with the front. But what I did do was went ahead and sanded down the back and the back of the headstock, as well as the back of the neck. And then I followed this guy's procedure for oiling and finishing the neck. It took about 3 days, only because you have multiple coats that have to sit and absorb into the wood or dry out. So it's not that it's that hard, but it just takes some time, all right? And it came out, oh my gosh, I've never felt anything so smooth. And it's just absolutely beautiful. And I used to sand all my necks. I didn't care if they were painted or not. I just sand them down. But even then, I didn't take the process to the next level. So what did we do? All right, we took the neck off the guitar, first of all. And then you get yourself some 220 grit paper. Take the tuning heads off if you're going to go that route. At first, I just went to here, behind the headstock, and to here. But then I didn't like the line, and it looked cheesy. It bothered me, so I took the tuning keys off, took the tuners off, and went ahead and did it. So 220 grit, and just get after it, sand all that stuff off. Don't worry about getting up on the edges of your fretboard. That's called rolling those fret edges. It's a good thing. If you ever look at the amount of distance you have between the strings and the outside of your fretboard, there's all sorts of crazy distance. So rolling your edges isn't that big a deal. Don't be afraid to get a sanding block on the edge of your guitar and just move it up and down on all those rough edges. It'll make it feel a whole lot better. Alrighty, so we sand that down. Then we take some linseed oil and boiled linseed. Now I'm condensing what he takes about 20 minutes to say. I'm going to do this in about 5 minutes. So you take your boiled linseed oil. It's $10 for this amount at a hardware store, and if you have a few guitars with wood necks, you'll use that. If you have gun stocks, you'll use that. If you have wood cutting boards, or if you're a woodworker at all, or do some cabinetry or make speaker boxes or whatever, you'll use it. So it's pretty cheap. Put some in a little bowl like this with yourself a paper towel. You can wear gloves if you want. I didn't think I needed to. Anyway, you dip that in there, and you just rub it all over the neck. And you can rub it on generously, but you do want a nice even coat, and it will immediately start to soak in. Then you leave that overnight, dry place, warm place, by a fireplace, perhaps. The next day, you come back with, and this was so cool, you put in your Tupperware a few mineral spirits, maybe just 2 ounces of mineral spirits in a Tupperware. Again, cheap. You'll use this if you paint at all. You'll use it. It's always good to have some mineral spirits around. But into your 2 ounces of mineral spirits, you'll put about a teaspoon of oil in there. It doesn't really matter. You just want to mix it around in there so your mineral spirits are extra slippery. And then you get yourself some 1,000 to 2,000 wet dry sandpaper. I have this for, I fixed a ding in the back of my Telecaster I had, and I filled the hole up with lacquer over several days, and I was actually able to use this 2,000 grit with some polish automobile polish, and polished that out to a mirror finish. It was pretty cool. So super fine, but 1,000 to 2,000. Do not use steel wool. Don't ever put steel wool on your guitar. Just don't even do it. Anyway, you dip that little piece of paper in your solution, and then you're gonna wet sand. And don't freak out. You're getting your guitar neck wet. Yeah, but it's okay. All right. And you rub that back and forth just on the neck area. You don't have to worry about the detail, but wet sand that neck again, and then this time wipe it off, and then you're gonna let that dry as well. The next day you come back and you put another coat of the oil on, just like you did before, all over the place, on the edge of the headstock, around the back side of the headstock. If you do get some up on the front here, it's okay. Just take a rag and wipe down those edges before you let the neck go ahead and sit again. After that next day, when you come back and feel that neck, you're gonna be blown away. It is so stinking smooth. And I got rid of that terrible orange color. It's still on the front, but it's not on the back. And that is better for me. Plus, I'm selling this tomorrow for a cool $220. So that's pretty exciting. Can't keep them all, and this thing kills my shoulder. I did take the pickups out for my thin line. But these are those Wilkinson M series. It's a good pickup. I don't feel bad about what I'm doing. This thing sounds like a rocket still. It's great. All that telly twang, but it roars like a PAF when you want it to. Okay, so, and then you're done. Let that dry another day, wipe it down, and you'll be so amazed. Now, so I'm so impressed, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to my Wolfgang. I have a maple neck Charvel unfinished that I'm going to do the same thing to, and maybe one or two others. But one thing before we leave here, because this has a finish on it, you do not want to get oil on a pre-finished surface, because the oil won't soak into the wood and it will end up just being sticky. So make that note. Oil on a rosewood fretboard or ebony fretboard is going to be okay, although we use F1 for that. Linseed is probably okay, but we use F1 for that. If you have a finish on your fretboard, don't use oil because it won't soak in and it'll just get tacky. Now, the cool thing about maple necks, this is a quarter sawn maple neck. I will do the same thing to this because it's rougher than this, and that's smooth. But the cool thing about a maple neck is you can see where you've played. And this one's about due for some, cleaning up, new strings, and I'll get to that eventually. But this is pretty cool because I can see that I'm really playing pretty much all over the neck, which is all right. That's cool. Do I need to wash my hands a little more? I don't know, maybe, but sometimes I play for a long time. And it's okay to have some dirt. It'll stain into that wood and it just all looks good. So I play a lot here, and then as I move up towards the body of the guitar, I'm playing down here at the 12th fret, 14th fret. I play, lower down on the lower strings. A lot in here on A and B, but I like that. It shows a pretty good distribution of my playing around the guitar. And to clean that up, it might be another video, but for that, it's nice to have yourself a paper towel, Windex, a little Windex between each of the frets, a soft toothbrush in a circular motion to help free up the dirt. Then you take your paper towel, wipe it off real good. That cleans it. And some people say don't put oil on maple necks. I don't see why not. It doesn't hurt. This doesn't have any varnish or shellac or any kind of coating on it, so the oil should soak into that just fine. But I'm looking forward to treating this neck to the same amazing finish that I got on this one. And it wasn't hard. It took a few days because I had to let things dry, but amazing, super silky, Just beautiful. And what about my truss rod? What about the truss rod? It's going to be okay. You can take the neck off your guitar and it's not going to, bend in front of your face. It'll be fine. If you are worried about it, then you could loosen the truss rod a half turn, perhaps. And if that makes you feel better, and then once you get the strings back on, tighten it a half turn. Just make sure you keep track of your turns and you'll be good. All right, so I'll put the description I'll put the link in the description. And while you've got some time off, get into some of these great guitar projects. Start working on your stuff. Old Guy Jammin' is out. Have a good one.